Good evening, everyone. There's been an outpouring of grief in Tasmania as hundreds gathered across the state for candlelit vigils last night. People from all cultural and religious backgrounds calling for unity as the tragedy continues to unfold in Christchurch.
Pleading for love, peace and tolerance, a community in mourning.
I think people do feel scared that, it could be them as well, because it could be anyone. It could be any one of us.
The mood was sombre at candlelit vigils in Hobart and Launceston last night. Hundreds gathering, many still in shock as they continue to watch the tragedy in Christchurch.
It also gives you fear that how secure we are as a community. But it's good to see that there are a lot of people supporting us.
It was shocking that people like us are going through that and they're just trying to make peace around the world.
This book to be sent to New Zealand, filled with hundreds of messages of condolences, unity and hope from Tasmanians.
We need to see that positive, united front. There is no place for racism, there is no place for us versus them or creating that divide.
Our message is one of unity and support. We've come together tonight to demonstrate that. We want them to feel safe and secure in the home that they love as much as we do.
Our New Zealand community paying their respects.
A lot of the Kiwis here are really upset. We're all pretty gutted with what's happened in Christchurch.
Flowers left at this Hobart mosque, a united front sharing one very important message.
Be together no matter colour, religion, ethnicity, no matter what. We are human, we are together, just be together.
Michelle Wisby, 7 Tasmanian News.
And in the wake of the Christchurch tragedy, Premier Will Hodgman has reiterated he's made no plans to weaken Tasmania's gun laws, which are among the toughest in the world. It comes after the government backed away from controversial proposed changes last year, now holding a parliamentary inquiry with members from all parties to investigate whether the current laws need altering.
The only way we can have any confidence here is for the committee to be reconvened so that there is transparency and public involvement in the development of any changes, if any are necessary, to Tasmanians' gun laws.
Tasmania has some of the strongest gun laws in the world. Other states in Australia, other countries look to Tasmania. We can...
Pill testing at Tasmanian festivals could be on the cards, with representatives meeting with experts today to discuss the idea. But they still need to convince the government, who has so far been unwilling to support any sort of testing trial.
This is one of the world's leading festivals, Dark Mofo. Today, organisers meeting with experts to discuss the pros and cons of pill testing.
We feel obligated to do every single thing that we can to reduce the harm, and if there's anything that we lose sleep over, it is this issue.
Coming together with Falls Festival and Party in the Paddock, talking to the mainland company which does the tests, which examine illicit drugs from festival patrons to find out just what is in them.
It also allows us to get information to people after they leave the festival that they can take with them about how to make sure that they engage in behaviour around their drug use that reduces the likelihood of harm.
Pill testing is not about condoning drug use. Pill testing is not about a quality testing for suppliers of drugs. It is first and foremost a risk mitigation strategy for Tasmanians.
But the government has ruled out the idea, and while the Greens support it, Labor remains on the fence.
The challenges we have is understanding what it would take to work in practice, and also the fact that under this government we have a Minister for Health and Police who's made it very clear that he does not support it and wouldn't implement it.
They should be getting the support from our leaders, from the government, to enable them to do that. It's a simple matter of being able to provide people with drug analysis services.
Dark Mofo not willing to roll out the test until the government is on board.
It's not in our interest to be working against the government. We need all the government services, we need the community to get behind this and support the reasons and the intentions for testing pills.
Michelle Wisby, 7 Tasmania News.
Tasmanian Independent MP Andrew Wilkie is calling for an investigation into the Centrelink Robo debt recovery scheme to be reopened. The automated service was introduced in 2016 and Mr Wilkie says mistaken debts continue to impact the lives of Tasmanians.
To issue thousands upon thousands of incorrect debt notices. It is continuing to scare the living daylights out of people in the community who either don't owe as much or don't owe anything.
That mother fighting her debt of $8,000 for months.
So it was financially a struggle, and I've just returned to work now, and I think it'll take me the rest of this year to recover financially, and I feel like I'm one of the lucky ones.
It's the third time Mr Wilkie has raised the issue with the Commonwealth Ombudsman. The man accused of murdering Tyson Timothy Robertson in 2016 could soon learn his fate. Ian Rosewall appeared in the Launceston Supreme Court this morning after changing his plea to guilty earlier this month. The body of Mr Clark Robertson was uncovered in a shallow grave at a Mayfield home in April 2017, 9 months after the 24-year-old went missing. Co-accused Renee Lorraine Donald has also pleaded guilty to being an accessory. Rosewall was today remanded in custody to face a sentencing hearing on Wednesday. One person has been taken to hospital after a two-car crash in Longford this afternoon. Both cars were severely damaged in the collision on Illawarra Road at around 3:30. One person was taken to the Launceston General Hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. The cause is still being investigated. This year is likely to be the last for Avoca Primary School, with the Schools Association requesting it shut its doors. Just 10 students remain enrolled, 4 of them are in grade 6. The state government says it's now working with the community to assess options and help transition pupils to the Campbelltown District School from 2020. Adequate bus routes to Campbelltown will also be reviewed ahead of the recommended closure. As Harmony Week celebrations continue across the country, the Hobart community came together today to welcome new migrants to the city. The Hobart City, Glenorchy and Clarence Councils launching Harmonious Hobart, an online space to post messages of acceptance.
We're seeing a lot of new arrivals in Hobart, and it's important that the 3 councils right across Greater Hobart are working together so that we're not duplicating our efforts and we're ensuring that we've got really good multicultural policies in all of our council areas.
Schools and community centres across Tasmania will be hosting free events throughout the week to celebrate. Last week, thousands of Tasmanian students joined a global movement striking for climate change action. And today, young leaders have gathered in Hobart to discuss their role in helping the planet. Those attending the Tasmanian Youth Leaders Conference say they've been inspired by their peers.
This college theatre, packed with the next generation of climate activists. Around 150 high school students here today to have their voices heard at the 2019 Tasmanian Youth Leaders Conference.
This is an event that aims to ignite the interest and inspiration in high school students in taking action in their schools and their communities to address the Sustainable Development Goals and specifically climate action.
Helping young people in this room and across Tasmania to realise that they do have power and they can use that power to create change and create the world that we deserve and that we need to have in order to avoid the worst impacts of climate change.
18-year-old Malati Wyson has spent 6 years leading a movement to ban plastic bags and is speaking today to inspire her peers.
Actually now my focuses are more towards actually empowering the next generation. So how do I, as a young leader myself on the front lines, how do I provide others with the same tools, the same experiences, so that they can be game changers themselves as well?
The event following student strike action seen across the state last week.
What it really shows is that even though sometimes young people are told that, we're too young or we can't do it or we have to wait till we graduate school, like these young people are saying, actually no, like we're going to do it now, it's our future on the line.
The students will spend the next 2 days workshopping ideas from the conference. Rebecca Main, 7 Tasmanian News.
Laughter being the best medicine was put to the test today with the state's clown doctors doing the rounds at the Launceston General Hospital. The fun-loving and colourful pair dazzled dozens of sick patients in the children's ward. Shine my
With a spring in their step and ukulele by their side, these two sure had plenty of smiles to go around.
Please don't take my sunshine away.
Always a popular sight in hospital halls, checking in on some of our smallest patients, blowing bubbles and creating a distracting adventure as medical professionals work.
We just try to lighten the load, lighten the mood a bit, just kind of bring down that stress a little bit.
Launceston now has its very own permanent clown, and she's loving it.
We enjoy performing. I have little children, and so I guess it's nice to be able to help families that need a little magic and sparkle in their lives.
Applications are also open to find her sidekick on the ward, but don't worry, you don't have to be an actual doctor.
We are the furthest thing from a doctor, but that is what is so glorious about it.
Today also marked the launch of the 14th annual Clown Doctors Appeal, which will see dozens of roadside collection points set up right across the state. Students today from East Launceston Primary School were eager to take part in the launch. All money raised goes back into keeping the program running for years to come.
They bring laughter and music and disorganisation to our ward, and we love that what they bring to us and the diversity and the happiness.
Every time I get to do this work, it's such a privilege.
Jessica Moran, 7 Tasmania News.
St Vincent de Paul has confirmed reports that 4 retail stores across the state will soon be closing down. The charity group said in a statement today, rumours started circulating last week that its Latrobe, Penguin, Burnie and Queenstown stores were shutting. But the good news is new store locations are being sought, promising bigger and brighter stores. The organisation says the outlets being shut down are not commercially viable in their current locations. There are currently 34 stores operating across Tasmania. They say sleep 20 hours a day, and if you're lucky, you might just catch a glimpse of Tasmania Zoo's newest red panda. But the 3-year-old isn't the only one at the zoo with a taste for bamboo. He's part of a global effort to save the species from extinction.
Sniffing out his new digs. This panda pad has all the comforts. There's a tree for hiding, a quiet place for sleeping, and every panda's favourite meal, bamboo. But that doesn't stop keepers from spoiling Tasmania Zoo's newest arrival.
Look, he's a great red panda. He's fun, he's active. Most pandas sleep quite a bit like a koala.
Not Tenzing. He's been in quarantine for 60 days since arriving from New Zealand, and he's more than happy to strut off his fine red coat, although he's not the only star on show.
So we've got 2 other red pandas here, Manzoo and Alika, and Tenzing's got a future recommendation to breed with Mandu, so baby pandas hopefully in the future.
Tasmania Zoo is part of a global effort to save the species from extinction. Tenzing is among 47 red pandas in zoos across Australasia, working to build up numbers.
These are Nepalese red pandas, which numbers are around 300 in the wild, so it's important that we have these breeding programs to continue the species.
Sean McComish, 7 Tasmania News.
After spending over a week up north, the 10 Days on the Island Festival has made its way to Hobart. A cast of local actors now in final rehearsals for a new powerful production, The Mares. Focusing on gender politics and female unity, the play follows the struggles of Amazon warrior women from Greek mythology.
The material, the language is very accessible, it's very funny, it's very raw and quite gritty, and I think people are going to get a real kick out of it.
The Mares opens at the Peacock Theatre in Hobart on Thursday night and will run until Sunday the 30th. After months of construction, Launceston's Cataract Gorge is now home to a brand new playground featuring state-of-the-art equipment, updated sandpit and new slide. It's hoped it will appeal to Tasmanians. The previous space was not flood-proof and suffered serious damage in the 2016 floods, with much of it washed away.
Every time it gets underwater, things get damaged, then we've got to clean up. So this way it should be protected unless we have a very, very, very significant flood.
The project cost around $650,000 and was funded by the council. Now let's take a look at the day's business and finance news with thanks to Tasplan, your local super fund. The Australian stock market started the week higher, buoyed by iron ore producers as the price of the resource spiked. The ASX 200 index rose 15.3 points. A short time ago, the Australian dollar was trading at 71.12 US cents and 53.54 Great British pence.
Cricket and Steve Smith and David Warner are now in India to prepare for the IPL, while the Aussie one-day squad completed gruelling World Cup fitness tests in Dubai. Their 5-game warm-up against Pakistan starts on Friday.
Kind of climbed the mountain of India, and now it's about backing that up against Pakistan, who are another quality outfit.
Teammates say meetings with Smith and Warner all went well. The countdown is on for one of the most highly anticipated Tasmanian super sprints in the event's history, with Simmons Plains hosting a third round of the Australian Supercars Championships in just a few weeks' time. Ford Mustang driver Cam Waters and Holden Commodore driver James Golding visited the state today to view some of the muscle cars that once raced around the iconic Tasmanian circuit at Launceston's National Automobile Museum. Waters will be looking to build on a solid start to the season, which saw him claim 2 podium finishes at last weekend's Melbourne 400.
Really great to have loyal sponsors, so absolutely awesome to have Monster Energy. Yeah, Simmons is cool. It's a lot shorter than where we just come from, the Grand Prix. So Grand Prix was 16 corners, it's only 7. So yeah, it's not too much to remember, which is nice, but the racing is always really tight.
It's the tightest corner that we have all year with the hairpin, so there's things we have to change on the car just specifically for that corner, and it mixes up the racing too, so I think it's going to be a good weekend.
The state's biggest annual sporting event begins with a transporter parade on April 3, with the official race kicking off on Friday, April 5.
Good evening. A partly cloudy day today with a few light showers over the east. Hobart 21, Launceston the state's high with 26 degrees, Burnie 22 and Devonport 23. Smithton and Ouse recorded 24, Flinders Island, Friendly Beaches and Strawn 23, King Island 22, Low Head and St Helens 21. There hasn't been much rain over Tasmania of late, and the top fall today was only 1.4 millimetres at Fingal due to a little bit of low cloud that drifted over the east today. A large area of cloud associated with an upper disturbance is over New South Wales and Queensland, and a low off the southeast of New South Wales. Middle level cloud sits over the central and west of the continent. The monsoon trough remains active, in particular near tropical cyclone Trevor off the Cape. Tomorrow, not much change in the synoptic chart. However, a cold front is moving towards Tasmania, high well to the south. Winds southeast to northeast reaching 20 knots over the northeast, lighter and more variable winds over the west. Hobart for Tuesday, 22 and a possible shower, 20 the high for Adventure Bay, partly cloudy for Tarraleah, 22 the top. Launceston partly cloudy and 27, 24 the high for Devonport and Bridport, bit of cloud but fine. Burnie tomorrow, partly cloudy and 24, 22 the high for Strawn, partly cloudy for Marrawar and 23 degrees. St Helens 21 with a shower or two, a shower or two for Swansea as well, 21 the top and 23 for Whitemark. UV has been fairly constant at these levels of around 6 or 7. On Wednesday, a light morning shower over the north and east, fine elsewhere until a late shower over the west. A fine start to Thursday, but there is the chance of afternoon showers developing, and mostly cloudy on Friday with an early shower clearing from the north and east. Partly cloudy and 34 in Perth. A sunny 28 in Adelaide, cloudy weather for Melbourne, showers for Canberra, Sydney and Brisbane, and showers and storms for Darwin. At the moment, mostly cloudy, Hobart 19 degrees, Launceston a bit of sun about and fine, and 22, Devonport sunny and 19. Jo, that's where it ends for me.
Beautiful. Thanks so much, Murph, and that's where it ends for me as well. Have a lovely evening. Bye for now.